Alright, welcome back to the channel with myself, Colin. Good to have you back. Another one that we're doing now is episode 18 of the Robert Glover No More Mr. Nice Guy series. Victim Triangle. Dun dun dun. Victim Triangle. What is Victim Triangle? How does this prevent nice guys from getting their needs met? In the previous video we just did, it is caretaking, and then before that was COVID contracts, and these all tie into each other, so it follows along. So you can go to check the previous one. I might link them up on the video here, but essentially let's see what is victim triangle and how does this tie in with COVID contracts and caretaking. Let's take a look. So first thing we're going to look at is COVID contracts and caretaking. Essentially that is in the shorter term, giving to get. So you're giving to get, right? COVID contracts, there's strings attached. Caretaking, strings attached. That is giving to get. And this leads to only one thing, or two things. That leads to frustration in the relationship and resentment. You're going to be frustrated and you're going to have resentment for your partner or any of your relationships that you have, or in life in general. And this is because your needs are not met. You don't get your needs met from the other person, and then this creates resentment because the other person didn't go according to your COVID contract, and then after a while this just keeps building and building and building and building, and eventually it's going to spill out, it's going to explode. And when it explodes, it can be ugly. Remember, nice guys are passive aggressive. You bring out, you try to shame the person, so you air out all this kind of dirty laundry in a sense, but you aim to hurt in that explosion. You aim to dig in deep there. And giving to get, as Robert Glover says, this creates a cycle. And this cycle is what he calls is the victim triangle. And the victim triangle has 3 steps. Right? 3 steps to this victim triangle. Let's take a look. Step number 1, the giving part, right? Because you're giving to get. So you're giving in the hopes of you're gonna get back what you need, which we covered in the previous video. And then what happens is when this is not returned, or you weren't given back in the way that you wanted, is the way that you expected, or even you didn't give as much as he gave, then the nice guy will start building up that resentment and that frustration. I can attest to this. It happens. I've done it. I'm on the journey of fixing this as well. Noticing it a lot more, of where it comes from, where it starts building, and then you start catching yourself doing this. But it builds up, and then step 3 is, so step 2 is when it starts building up, when you don't get back what you gave. And step 1 is obviously just giving in the hopes of getting something back, and then step 2, it builds up, you start getting resentful and frustrated, and step 3, it builds up so that you explode. And this can be, as I said, passive aggressive behavior. It can be grown-up tantrums. I'm guilty of that too. I've had grown-up tantrums. Or another one, which is withdrawing. You withdraw from your partner, or blaming. Essentially all of these tie into an adult tantrum. right? Do note for the nice guys, this could be more passive aggressive, which can come in the steps of stepping out of the relationship or doing something that you've hidden from your partner. Doesn't necessarily have to be stepping out, but something you know your partner would not agree with, would not appreciate, and you kind of hide it and do it in the dark. Um, and another thing here is, I think I will, yeah, nice guys. Hi, I'm Colin, and I'm a recovering nice guy, myself included. Always, let me say that again. Always keep scores. You might not say it out loud to your partner, but in your mind, you're keeping scores. And you always tend to remember when you do something for your partner or whatever, you do it more than what they give back to you. And then you'll try to use that as a scoring system later. Like, oh, I did this for you. Why are you like this back to me? Kind of thing, right? Which again is a victim mindset, in my opinion. That is, you're not taking charge. You're building up. How would you say? You are not on the same team, kind of. You separated yourself. It's you against your partner, which is a no-no. That doesn't work in a relationship. And then what and this when the cycle, remember, so it's you don't get what you give, you start building up that frustration and resentment, you explode and have a tantrum, and that's when the cycle is complete. After you've had that, excuse me, after you've had that tantrum, you have completed a cycle of the victim triangle, right? So you got one, your needs aren't met. Two, your start building up frustration when you don't get back what you're given. Three, you explode from the frustration and whatnot. And then what happens is you go back to step one, right? It's a cycle. And it always, not always, but it usually just starts over and over and over again until you kind of pick up on this, giving to get, the COVID contracts, the caretaking. Once you start becoming aware of this and start stepping in and start stepping back from it, then you'll start to notice, and that's when you can disrupt this cycle. Otherwise, you're just continuing the cycle every time. And here's some activity that you can do. So again, Robert Glover, this is from the No More Mr. Nice Guy book from Dr. Robert Glover. Especially here he gives some tips. I've changed it a bit, but linking the behavior and the explosion. So it can at times be difficult to make a direct link between your caretaking behavior and the emotional outbursts that you have. Robert Glover calls it emotional pukes. So, once you've had that, or you can even think back on it, but once you've had that, observe, right? Look at it. What are the ways you hurt the person you love, or what did you do? Did you make a hurtful remark, or you made a hurtful joke? Like kind of true. Did you criticize them? Look back and then, like, did you let the frustration of the situation build up until you blew up at them? Could you have stopped it if you had said something different, if you had taken a step back? Just observe the reactions or the causes of that. Then Robert Glover's other advice is you can ask your LTR or your wife or your partner, or other people in your life to give you feedback about your caretaking and your emotional outbursts. Um, this, if you're comfortable doing it, I would suggest you can do it. I personally don't. I will mark down in my journal and I will go over it myself and see how I can do feedbacks. If it is a major impact in the relationship, I will then maybe speak to my wife about it and take note of how, obviously in the fight, after we've had a fight or an argument or something, our general rule of thumb is to kind of talk it out or deal with the situation that it is. We don't just leave it. We do kind of look at it and see like, okay, what we both kind of could have improved upon here in our communication with each other, and how to level it up. So you could do it that way. Do note, when you are asking feedback from your partner or from someone, kind of distance yourself from that feedback in a sense, because it's not distance yourself, but be prepared. It's going to be hard to hear. And as Robert Glover does warn here, it could trigger a shame attack, which is then you'd say basically you take offense and you blow up and you try to hurt them back, where that is not the point of it. The point is you want that information so you can learn from it. And this is important information to get out of the cycle, the victim triangle, right? You get out of the cycle of just giving to get and whatnot. So yeah, so write down or journal, after you've exploded, or of explosions in the past. How did that impact you? How did it impact the other person? There are questions on the screen that you can ask, or take notes of. That's one of the ways, just to get this is all to get your awareness of what it is you're doing, so that you can start stepping in and moving yourself away from the COVID contracts, the caretaking behavior, and start realizing, taking control of your life, becoming authentic. Yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for joining. The next one we're going to do is how to really start becoming selfish. Not in the sense of becoming selfish as you become an a-hole, but how you start really taking care of yourself so that you can empower yourself to take care of others and your circle, your family, your partner, your LTRs, whatever. That'll be the next one we look at, how to really become selfish and look after yourself. Yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for joining. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Well, up to you if you want to subscribe. But do let me know what you think. Are there any behaviors here that you can identify? Is there anything you can connect with on this one? Let me know, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.